So I've been heavily involved in all of the Hassan versus Asmongold drama, but I'm going to be real here. I know a lot of people know how much I care about Zach. He's a fucking great friend. He's a great guy. But I attempt to pride myself in being very fair in any type of debate between two streamers that I've ever been a part of in my history on Twitch and my history on YouTube. So I want to watch this. I want to play it straight down the middle. And I actually am curious what this video has to say. But let's see. I want to make this also perfectly clear. I've met Hassan. I've talked to Hassan. I like Hassan when he doesn't talk about politics. I do. I think there's a great, underneath all that bullshit, I think there's a great guy underneath, a very likable guy underneath. But the problem is his political takes, from what I've seen, are so ridiculous to the point of being a legitimate, or what I have been interpreting to see a legitimate man who supports terrorists in the way that he conducts himself on stream. But maybe I'm not seeing the whole picture, and I'm hoping this video helps here.
I just want you to understand, by the way, when Asmongold is making threats like this is the result, okay? When you partner up with cynical souls who just simply want to see the fucking world burn, are gonna hurt other content creators, you know?
I think this is a very ignorant take, and he's referring to Asmongold pairing up with Dan Saltman, and Dan Saltman isn't trying to make the world burn. He's trying to have a platform be responsible for the creators that they platform on it and be responsible for their actions. I think there's a big difference between someone who's trying to hold the proper people accountable versus people who are just trying to cause shit for the sake of causing shit. Like, for example, me. I'm just causing shit about Donald Trump because it's funny. I think Dan Saltman is just trying to get people to be held accountable for the wrongdoings that they've done and, you know, not host offensive content on a gaming platform.
Like, I think it's Hassan's fault. I think it's my fault. It's Central Committee's fault. It's Frogan's fault. And so when you play defense for things that you shouldn't play defense for, you should expect that people are also going to play offense for things that they shouldn't play offense for.
I absolutely agree. What he's referring to is that when people get overly defensive about being banned for a legitimate reason, then that's going to let people be offensive for an illegitimate reason, which just isn't a good thing to do. So I also agree with that.
So, it looks like Hassan is having a rough time. This guy is absolutely seething over the current Twitch adpocalypse situation, and is...
I would like to say the adpocalypse situation, another thing I would like to weigh in on, isn't real, okay? Now, people are going to try to get you to believe that it's real. The adpocalypse is not real. Okay, the only people who are being affected by the adpocalypse are political streamers, because they have to mark their content as political, and sexual content streamers who have to mark their content as sexual conduct. Okay, every other streamer is not suffering from this. Now, a lot of people are referencing Lacey, saying he went from going from $10,000 down to $2,000. Lacey was farming in that clip. He was saying how easy streamers have. It was a fucking joke. But the problem is that that joke is going over people's bald fucking head.
Trying to completely change history to act like he isn't to blame in the slightest.
Well, okay, let's be real. It's Hassan's fault. It's about 70% Hassan's fault, 15% Zach's fault, 5% Frogan's fault, 5% Denim's fault, 1% my fault. But Majority's fault, you know whose it really is? It's fucking Twitch's fault. It's Twitch's fucking fault that they're platforming this shit. And that's just the reality. The fact that they let Frogan and Denims go up on a Twitch-sponsored stream and do a ranking from, what, Arab to not Arab was ridiculous. It was probably Miskiff's fault too, true.
He's going as far as to blame it entirely on the Asmongold rant.
Yeah, that's
when
insane.
In reality,
it's just revisionist history. It's
that
bullshit.
went a bit viral. But this all really started because of an organized campaign contacting the advertisers of Twitch.
Yep.
Because people were sick of Twitch's double standard with allowing the whole extremist supporting squad, Hassan included.
I also think it's very dangerous to be allowing content creators like Frogan on this platform, because she is actively shilling pro-obesity content every single time she goes live on Twitch. She's just sitting there shoveling her mouth full of food, dump truck after dump truck of food, and it's hurting the fucking youth. Like, there's children on this platform that are easily manipulable, and it's just not good. It's just problematic.
To say the most heinous you could imagine and not get disciplined for it. Hassan, dude, you're not gonna be able to change history on this one, bud. You could go and delete the last 2 months of your VODs and act ignorant all you want.
Fat shaming, okay, bro. Listen, guys, I have the fat shaming pass, okay? I'm fat too. I can say it. A fat fuck can make fun of another fat fuck, okay? I have the fucking pass, okay, cracker?
But the facts are out there. The clips are out there. And the reality of this situation is you and your tumorous crew and Twitch's double standard regarding policy enforcement is what got them into this situation.
When Asmongold said he'd host him for exposing on anti-Semitism, I thought it was strange. Now it makes sense. Yeah, that was really funny. Asmongold's like, oh, if Twitch doesn't get his shit in order, I'll have Dan on. Like, oh no. Oh no, dude. I just want you to understand, by the way.
I don't know why Hassan says it's not a big deal to have Dan on, and then later in another clip he says it's a huge deal to have Dan on. It's just like, how do we go from that to this?
When Asmongold is making threats like this is the result, okay? When you partner up with cynical souls who just simply want to see the fucking world burn, and they force platforms who are terrified of offending anyone, okay? Even if their purpose is utterly and so clearly to troll, okay? Platforms that turn around and capitulate and cave.
I learned what that meant. I learned what that word meant the other day.
Against that sort of thing, are gonna hurt other content creators, you know?
Hassan seems to be under the impression that just because he has the most viewers out of all these people, that he gets to sit there and write history about how all of this happened. But
I mean, let's be real. I mean, that kind of is how it goes. I mean, that kind of is the buff that bigger streamers have, right? Revisionist history is enormous on this platform. Just take me, for example, of how many times I've done something completely unproblematic and it be rewritten into me being Adolf Hitler. It's been fucking terrible. The larger streamer will always have the advantage. However, I do believe in this situation to where it is, in a sense, Asmongold versus Destiny versus Hassan. They're pretty damn similar. Whether somebody has 40,000 viewers or 50,000 viewers, it's pretty much the same fucking thing. So, you know, it kind of is what it is. I don't really want to take this whole, he's the big bad guy and they're the small little guy. Oh, we got to fight the big giant. The playing fields are pretty fucking even, and I don't want to act like there's a power imbalance where there isn't one.
But that's just not the case. Asmongold is threatening to expose Twitch for their double standards because he was banned in result of those double standards. In reality,
however, Asmon was banned for a legitimate reason, but what he's saying is that other people who have done the exact same actions as him have not been banned for those actions. Not that his ban was unjustified.
you should be the one apologizing to this guy and all the people receiving no Twitch ads. It's you and your community that has been the centerpiece to all the stuff that's being sent to Twitch and its advertisers. It's nothing but a fact that you had a Houthi pirate on stream and tried to humanize him and make him out to be some sort of good guy, then post-talk rationalize the whole situation and act like he was never a Houthi.
Yeah, I do think having a Houthi pirate and comparing him to a beloved anime character like Monkey D. Luffy is one of the most insane things that have ever happened on Twitch. I have no idea why the fuck this should ever happen.
Even though you introduced him as such in the interview. And he even said himself that that's exactly what he is. The fact is, you deleted 2 months of VODs because you knew there were 1,000 comments you made that blows this whole argument out of the water. In fact, I would not be surprised in the slightest if Twitch was the one that told you to remove those VODs.
Show that clip to
you
Oda.
were making
Yeah, I
both of
wonder
you
what
guys
Oda
look
would think.
bad. So this guy that you're
Yeah.
talking about that's being screwed over because he had an Iran tag in his profile has nobody to blame but you, my dude. Let's be real. The only people that are going to believe that you had nothing to do with this is your smooth brain, frogged out audience.
Hassan blaming.
I don't think that Hassan's audience is smooth brain frogged out. I think they're just the people who watch Asmongold are the polar opposite of the people who watch Hassan, right? And so I can see how the two opposing factions would see the other side as retarded, but I think both sides are pretty reasonable besides the extremist. And I also don't think a streamer should be judged by the extremist of their communities. For example, I think Emmy is one of the nicest people I've ever met. However, if you were to judge her based on the extremist schizos that she has in her chat, and you were to hold her accountable for that, you would consider her community one of the worst communities on Twitch. However, she doesn't have any ability to control people who are going to run buck wild with whatever it is she says, implies, or doesn't say. It is pretty nuts.
Asmon. Okay, here we go. Let's watch it.
When Asmongold is making threats like this is the result. Okay? When you partner up with cynical souls who just simply want to see the fucking world burn.
I mean, I don't really think that's the reason. I mean, let's be honest. The Iran thing, like, nobody wanted people from Iran to get demonetized. Nobody's thinking, what are you talking about?
And they
is my fault. I don't think it's my fault that the adpocalypse happened. I think it's all of our fault. Like, I think it's Hassan's fault. I think it's my fault. It's Central Committee's fault. It's Frogan's fault. It's Denham's fault. It's Tectone's fault.
That's the reason why I'm reacting to this video, by the way, because I am mentioned by name. Okay, I am mentioned by name. I'm here to say my piece. Is it my fault for the adpocalypse? Yeah. All right.
It's, let's see, who else are we thinking? Probably, like 1%, maybe Quinn's fault. Like, it's all of our faults.
Yeah,
like,
Quinn was
that's really
the
truth.
The reality is it's majorly Twitch's fault.
Like, I mean, nobody went and made Frogan do like a tier list or a racial tier list. Nobody like, I didn't make her do that.
See, Asmongold is...
I wonder if Twitch knew that that's what Frogan was going to go do. I wish they would weigh in. I wonder if they knew that she was going to do that.
Willing to accept partial blame because he could see the reality that all of you guys put a massive negative spotlight on Twitch. But will Hassan accept any blame? Hell no. Will Frogan? Hell no. Her racial tier list was absolutely fucked. Not to mention their outburst about everyone in the military in the United States deserves PTSD. Oh,
fucking insane. I really don't think I'm ever going to be able to, and I know a lot of people like to be like, oh yeah, we'll separate the art from the artist. I just don't think I'll be able to relate or understand on any level anybody who just does not support the troops and understand the traumatic nature of having to dedicate your life to make sure that everyone else in this country can live comfortably with their sacrifice. I'm a very pro-military guy. I come from a military family. I've seen the damage that does to a household. I've seen the damage that does to our citizens and our soldiers. And you just have to be such a vile, evil human being to attempt to villainize and patronize the people who are giving us the opportunity to live comfortably and speak these outrageous perspectives on the internet from our cushy, comfortable homes. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous.
Oh, and how about her plan to do a 9/11 baking stream?
I will never have any fucking pity for any fucking soldiers. U.S. military? Who fucking who?
Okay, I will say, the 9/11 baking stream, while I do think it's in poor taste, I don't think that it's, like, it's bad, but if it's done as a joke, it's different. I don't want to take away jokes. The problem is I just don't want to let Frogan joke because I don't like the bitch, right? But, I mean, just really depends on how serious they're doing it. I know a lot of people are freaking out over Call of Duty having a 9/11 system in it too, but I think the problem is the serious statements, the non-satirical statements that are being made, like everybody deserves to get PTSD. That's just fucking outrageous. Truly egregious.
I hope you get PTSD.
Bro, with their views, it's not a simple joke. Who's to say what a joke is? I can't assuredly say that it's not a joke, so I don't want to really go in on that.
The
Egg count 54. Is that how many she's eaten for breakfast? She's eaten 54 eggs this stream. Holy fuck.
U.S. military that are like, yeah, like, I did this back then, but now I know it's wrong. Like, I'm changed. Like, imperialism. This, You don't deserve this.
I mean, guys, I've made a
But
9/11
like any
joke
other
before
motherfucker,
too,
you're
right?
doing them. You're, oh my god, I want my fucking
But
Camaro.
it's
no
who's to
filter.
say what a joke is and what's not a joke?
I hope you get PTSD.
That takes just fucking
Okay.
outrageous.
6250. 9/11 baking stream with Raph and Capri. If we get to this goal by 9/11, Capri, Raph, and I will make the Twin Towers out of a stacked cake, and we'll make an airplane, and we'll recreate 9/11.
Yeah, it's all Asmongold's fault. Not this crazy fuck. Not his.
I really don't like when someone's friends does something awful and they just turn a blind eye. You have to hold your friends accountable. You really fucking do. Right? You really do. It's obnoxious. We can't do this shit. It's the same thing when Asmon got fucking banned. Did you see me going around saying, oh, he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it. Fuck no. I said, yeah, the guy's an idiot. Okay? And I hope he fucking repents and he cleaned his room. But this whole, oh, my homies did it, so I'm not going to go in on him is fucking ridiculous. Now, you don't have to go in on them hard, but at least hold them accountable. Because that's what friends do, is they hold each other accountable.
Son watching extremist propaganda videos. Not this.
Tectone, I'm not going to lie. We view every off-the-wall statement as a joke just because we don't know it's a joke and I saw a problem in itself. I think it's quite obvious who's satirical and who's not. And even for those who aren't obvious, it's always going to confirm regardless of the negative effects on the jokester. Oh, it's just hard, man. Joke policing is so dangerous.
Deformed creature trying to do a 9/11 baking stream. Give me a damn break. Yeah, let's just completely rewrite history and blame Asmongold.
I mean, I find it to be kind of flattering, right? That like now, you know, it's like my fault that all this is happening. But everybody knows, like, there's been a million bad things that have happened on Twitch, things people didn't get banned for, etc. That group, like, you know, I don't want to, like, say it's like a group of people, but it kind of is. Of, like, Hassan,
it is a group of people.
you know, like, Central Committee, Denims,
Yeah.
Frogan, all of those people. They've kind of defended a number of things that are extremely alienating for a lot of people. And I think that they've also defended a number of double standards and preferential treatment. Like,
Absolutely.
for example, like not getting banned for calling people crackers, or
Yep.
like the death threat thing only being like a 2 or a 3 day ban.
Yep.
And the problem is that they haven't really held Twitch accountable for people that they agree with. And I think what's happened is that other people see that there's that lack of accountability, and it's not really hard to perceive somebody that puts out a death threat or says something like this. It's not that hard to see that a person like that is going to very clearly, you know, they should get in trouble. And so when
Absolutely.
you play defense for things that you shouldn't play defense for, you should expect that people are also going to play offense for things that they shouldn't play offense for, because you're defending something that's unreasonable.
Yeah, Asmongold just nailed it on the head. It's 100% the group of malignant tumors that orbit Hassan. They are all willing to run defense for each other.
All right, I want to just really target that word orbiters. The reason why people use the word orbiters is due to have a negative connotation for their affiliation with someone's content because they're a larger content creator. I actually just believe that Hassan, Frogan, and Denims are just friends. I don't think there's any type of ulterior motive for it. I hope there's not. I mean, I've heard great things about the content of their character off stream. I hate that word orbiters. I think it's very disingenuous, and it's an opportunity to paint something in a negative light that doesn't need to be painted in that way. However, I do believe that, yes, their group mindset is very destructive, and I think there's better ways to go about it and just to hold each other accountable for their misactions.
Because they all agree with each other. And any
We all on the same page here? Am I saying anything crazy here? I feel like the chat's been pretty tame, so I feel like I'm just kind of hitting the nail on the head here. Not seeing anybody losing their fucking mind, so I feel like I'm just am I just kind of saying what y'all are thinking? Cool. All right. Great. Just making sure we're yeah. I want to make sure that I completely elaborate everything that I'm saying.
anyone not in the group gets the cold shoulder and even pressure from the group for stronger action against them because they don't agree with him. Asmongold clearly has his problems. Hell, we all do. But at least the guy's
Sure.
head is on straight enough to understand the actual problem and not try to obfuscate the situation or rewrite history to absolve themselves and their buddies.
Absolutely.
When they are most certainly 90% of the problem. Like, for instance, the Houthi pirate you interviewed, and then try to act like he was never a Houthi and he's actually comparable to Anne Frank.
By the way, just want to point out to LSF, to the LSF crowd, once again, I just saw this. Wonderful stuff. Asmongold and I have a 4-hour conversation. Hassan says the Houthi he talked to is like Anne Frank. First of all, he was not a fucking Houthi. Bro, are we about to have a Houthi rebel on stream? Yes, brother. What do you mean? Excuse me. Of course I'm about to have a... I'm a journalist.
هل أنت جزء من الحوثيين؟
الحوثيين يمنيين.
You're Houthi and Yemeni.
الحوثي يمني.
All right.
Secondly,
oh my God. This is why you try to fact check everything that someone tells you on the internet. That's, I mean, God, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, there are very few true caught moments on this platform, but man, that's rough.
yes, he withstood genocide. That is correct. Like, you can't fucking materialize a appropriate dwarfy or whatever the fuck this Destiny Dick Rider account is. But 4 hours of conversation, that's the one thing you got? That's awesome.
Let's just rewrite history, guys. Nobody's gonna notice. Because I have 50,000 live stream
He said in the interview he was talking to actual hostages. Yeah, I remember the hostages were like playing video games or some shit.
viewers that are willing to propagate my rewriting of history. Hassan, dude, you and your buddies have nobody to blame but themselves. It's just really that simple. You guys put a spotlight on yourself by saying the most insane shit.
I just don't understand how it's even a conversation that they don't understand that the extreme shit that they say is going to lead to extreme things happening. Like when you have, I mean, like, dude, he gets a lot of viewers. Like in politics, that drives people fucking crazy. We all know it fucking does. It's like a fucking drug. Like, I don't understand the confusion here. I don't get how there's any, oh shit, you're right, I fucked up. I'm going to stop doing this shit. How is it not like that?
And you just thought you could get away with it because
Guys, I'm going to give a hot take, guys. I actually really enjoy America. I think America is amazing. I think it's like a melting pot of all cultures into one. How you can go to different states and experience completely different surroundings and environments. And I majorly feel very safe in this country. You know? I mean, I also think America's heading in the right direction as of now. But I mean, I know that's not a popular take, but I'm not a doomer for this country, guys. I'm really not. I actually think things are good, but that's just my opinion. And I've lived both sides of the spectrum. Have you been anywhere else? I've been to Canada and I've been to Mexico. Full disclosure. I've only been to Canada and I've only been to Mexico. Maybe other countries are incredible, but I'll have to see that. I plan on traveling in February. I'm going to Japan in February.
of your journalist buddies running defense for you and your friends inside
He won the popular vote. It's a popular take. Yeah, but on the internet, it's a lot more left-leaning, especially on Twitch because, well, I can explain why, but I don't want to get into the conspiracy theory on Twitch this stream. I'll say that for next time.
the Twitch moderation team. Well, that might have worked for a while, but it isn't working anymore. Advertisers have been
you streaming Japan?
contacted
I'm streaming
directly,
Japan, yes.
and they aren't having it. And that's exactly who's forcing Twitch's hand here. Because God knows they didn't plan on doing anything till the bottom line started to get affected.
And I think that the current ad situation on Twitch is a result of a lot of hand waving, a lot of intellectual dishonesty
True.
that I think people have just become tired of. And now you see people bringing it up all the time because there's nothing else that they can do. They've tried to complain to Twitch. Twitch doesn't listen, and people think it's unfair. So I don't really think it's my fault specifically. I do think that some of the adpocalypse stuff is my fault, and you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I would like to say to the people who are saying that this is all Hassan's fault, that's also just not true, right? People saying, oh, it's all Hassan's fault. No, it's not, okay? It is a collective. And in reality, more people than just Hassan are at fault. It's the collective. It's the way the community reacts to this shit. I mean, a community can make a streamer say some extreme ass shit when they feed into them enough. Now, sure, is it the streamer's responsibility to make sure they don't go off the deep end? Yes, but I understand a streamer's chat has a lot of power to control the things that they do or don't say when the streamer is convinced that that's what the chat wants him to say. Trust me, I go live every day and I know what my chat wants me to say. Streaming is a hell of a drug and you have to be very careful and take that shit in moderation.
That's what happened. Too bad. And that's Twitch's fault, period. Yeah, it would have never escalated like this if people had held each other accountable and not tried to come up with excuses for bad behavior. But what's happened instead is that people...
Your vision of Hassan comes from clips. I don't know, but it seems like a great part of this is just a Hassan hate train. I don't think I've said anything fair or anything unfair this whole video. If you think there is something that I'm being unfair about or something that I'm off about, I am always down to have a dialogue between my chat, but I think I've kept it pretty fucking fair. I don't think I've badmouthed them in any, dishonest way whatsoever. I don't think. You can let me know, but I don't think I've said anything egregious.
People have tried really hard on Twitch to come up with reasons why being racist or being wrong or saying bad stuff like this is acceptable. It's not acceptable. It never was acceptable.
But the whole video is a Hassan hate video. Are you going to watch an interview alternative perspective as well? I would like to say this is 1,000,000% a Hassan hate video. And I hope that you've seen that I've corrected the negative connotation that the narrator has attempted to use in order to further the negative agenda against Hassan. I think I have been incredibly fair and said he's using this word because of this. He's using this word because of that. However, if there is an alternative perspective video that you want to link me, I would love to watch that. I would absolutely love to watch that.
And I think everybody can see the double standard. And so the issue is that people are not taking accountability for the bad.
Oh, so, okay, for instance, do you think he's actually an anti-Semite, for example? No, I don't believe that Hassan's an anti-Semite. I have no reason to believe that. I don't believe that was said in this video, but no, I don't believe that at all.
Things that they're doing, and they're trying to pretend like they're not bad. That's the reason why this is happening. That's why people are pushing the advertisers so hard.
Feel free to link me something that's the other perspective.
Because these people refuse.
Yeah, no, this is also my stance as well. And I've said this before. I do think Hassan's a good dude. I think that he just supports the wrong things. And I think that politics fucking sucks. Yeah. But yeah, link me a video if you want the other perspective to be analyzed. I'd love that.
To self-regulate.
You seem to believe that he supports terrorists. He doesn't. He just explains their position. Okay, so I do believe that. I do think him broadcasting his conversation with the Houthi pirate was a bad idea. And romanticizing his life to tens of thousands of people, comparing him to Monkey D. Luffy is a very irresponsible thing to do. And yeah, I think I stand pretty firmly on that.
They refuse to do it. They need to stop playing defense for each other when one person does something that's clearly indefensible.
What does he support that you don't agree? I just said that.
And if you do something...
That kid was not a Houthi, though. He just confirmed that he was in the clip.
Something that should get you banned. You can't just keep defending people or expecting other people to defend you because you align with them politically or socially.
He wasn't. Okay, well, the idea of that stream going in was that is, whether he was or wasn't, right? The idea was that was the concept of the stream, and that's what his identity was. That is what he said. That is what Hassan said before the stream. I can only assume that's what it was. And a lot of people also left with that pretense. True or not? Yes, a lot of people thought that. So if you were to romanticize that life, regardless of whether that was their identity or not, the idea was still promoted. And that's a very dangerous idea to promote.
Or you're friends with them.
Yeah, Asmongold's right. That was perfectly articulated. He's just 100% correct about this. This culture of running defense for your buddies is exactly what got Twitch into this situation.
That is the problem. People say it's Hassan's fault or Asmon's fault, whether it's neither, it's really Twitch. No, that's what I said. I quite literally said it's not just Asmon's fault. It's not just Hassan's fault. It's a collective's fault. And majorly, it's Twitch's fault for hosting this on their platform.
Yet you have people like Hassan that are just completely unwilling to accept any blame for this situation. It's all just an optics game to him. Read some BS in chat, then reinforce that BS so you can act like it's just the public's opinion and not just a random chatter that you specifically pointed out to make you and your argument look better. It's the same old routine with Hassan.
Asmon said I lit the fuse, but Twitch built the bomb. Sure.
The dude has always been like this. He can't bear take an L in public. His ego just won't let him, which is exactly why he cowers behind watching 20-second clips and taking Destiny out of context instead of actually speaking to him. You and your buddies need to stare into a mirror and do some self-reflection. Avoiding that you guys did anything wrong is just not healthy. And not to mention, it just doesn't look good for anyone that understands the context of the situation. All right, guys, I said my bit. I hope you guys...
Okay, this is a very great video. Yeah, I once again, I think I was pretty fucking fair. If you think I said anything intellectually dishonest, let me know. I really tried to represent both sides there. I really did. Destiny mentioned breaking people's minds. I'm not really sure what everybody's issue is with Destiny. Is it that he's a cuck? I'm not sure. I think Destiny is one of the smartest people that I've ever seen. The way that he's able to articulate himself is fucking insane. He's pretty much God's gift to debating. It's fucking insane. He's ridiculous. Hassan as well is very articulate. Same with Asmon. Asmon, Destiny, and Asmon all have a true gift of being able to debate and articulate themselves, in my opinion. I mean, I'll be real, guys. I mean, I have way more of an issue with Frogan and Denims because they made it very personal with me. Majorly Denims, that shit was fucking insane. But yeah, I mean, my opinion of Hassan has always been the same. I think he's a good guy at his core. I just think he supports the wrong things, or at least things that I disagree with. That's pretty much it. People were saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't believe that whatsoever. But yeah, I just think that his beliefs and my beliefs are pretty damn different. And I think the things that he's hosting on his platform are pretty dangerous. That's pretty much it. You know, I don't think I'm saying anything crazy. But yeah, anything else before I wrap this section up? Has Hassan ever taken accountability for a single thing? Honestly, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Destiny's a professional debater, a little bit his answers are so predictable. Here's the other side of the debate, raises the octaves in his voice, and eventually starts yelling. He's a passionate guy. I'm not going to guilt somebody for being passionate. I don't care. I think ideas spreading on the internet makes us forget where we actually are in our own lives. We get caught up in intellectual rabbit holes to no end. That's not to say this isn't helpful to speak on matters. It's a question of the freedom to truly do so. True. All right, I emoji just watch us on stream for like 2 or 3 days and see the full extent of his opinions. There's the economy, there's foreign policy, there's domestic cultural issues, and you'll definitely find some things you agree and some you disagree. Absolutely. Oh, dude, if anybody thinks that, oh, I disagree with everything he stands for, no, I'm just saying some things. That's why I said some things. Majority of the extreme examples he's had. Like, yeah, I feel like he is a little bit loose-lipped with labeling anybody a Nazi. I've seen many clips. Or maybe it's the same clip over and over again of some guy disagreeing with him and just him calling him a neo-Nazi. That one was wild. But yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to get upset over this, they can. But I really don't think I said anything crazy. But who knows? We'll find out eventually. People think that I'm a pretty ridiculous guy, but I think I'm pretty easy to get along with. And I think I'm pretty easy to talk to. But don't agree equals Nazi? True, random chatter.